Here is some sports betting advice I am so glad I didn't follow last year, as it would have completely killed all of my profits. Welcome to Juice Bets. My name is Trevor. Today we're going to go over 3 or 4 pieces of advice that I received and I found in some articles and all over Twitter that, was supposed to be good advice for sports bettors, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy I didn't follow it, because after I found Plus EV sports betting, all of that advice went out the window, and it honestly would have killed all of my profits and ROI. So we'll get into exactly what this advice is, but before we do, make sure you do like and subscribe because it helps our channel grow. And if you are interested in learning more about Plus EV sports betting and also getting all of my bets sent directly to you, we do have a VIP Discord. It's linked down below. It's a 3-day free trial on that as well. Okay, let's get into the video. This first piece of advice is generally pretty good for the average sports bettor, and it is number 1 in this article here, but at the end of the day, it's not accurate. So the advice is stop betting with your heart, right? Use your head when you're betting. You should be picking bets regardless of who your favorite team is. Do your research and bet based off of your research. And in general, that's good advice for a regular sports bettor who is betting on his favorite team every night and losing money. However, with Plus EV sports betting and at Juice Bets here, we rely on math and market data to make our decisions. So we're not betting with our heart. We're not betting with our head. We are betting using the market data and math. And I'll show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. So I am talking about Plus EV sports betting, which is positive expected value sports betting. And this is a strategy that removes emotions. It removes your heart and your head from the equation. Now it's just using market data. And so this is a software called OddsJam. This is what I use to find these great betting opportunities. And what it does is, and what the strategy is it's finding mispriced lines on sports books, right? So if you get a bunch of accounts on a bunch of different sports books, you'll be able to shop around and find opportunities like this. And so for instance here, first period money line, the Carolina Hurricanes, on BetUS, they're priced at minus 111, right? So basically they're saying, it could go either way in this game. The Red Wings or the Hurricanes could win this first period. However, if we look at the rest of the market, which is super important with sports betting because different sports books will price things at different numbers, right? Because they have different algorithms, they have money moving in on their platform, and it changes the odds. So if we see that BetUS is, even, and you were to place this bet on BetUS for the Hurricanes, that would be an incredible bet. And the reason why, and that would be Plus EV bet, the reason why is because all these other sports books, right? Pinnacle and DraftKings and Caesars, very sharp sports books that are quite valuable with their market data, are saying, well, no, the Hurricanes are much more favored to win this first period, and you should be getting paid out at minus 160 or so, minus 180 on DraftKings. So why this is so valuable is because the market's saying, you have these odds. You have minus 160 odds for this thing to hit. So quite favored. But you're being paid as if it's not favored on this specific sportsbook. And that's where you can capture the value. You're being paid basically 50 cents on the dollar more than if you were to take it on all these other sportsbooks. I mean, if you can see every single sportsbook in the market is saying that this bet is minus 160. BetUS mispriced their line. It's at minus 111. That's a Plus EV bet. So first, advice I'm happy I didn't take. I'm no longer betting with my heart or my head. It doesn't matter. It's based on market data and based on math. Second piece of bad advice is you shouldn't be betting too many games. You should limit the number of your bets. And the reason why is what they're saying, this advice, is betting 10 or 15 games per night is dangerous. You're taking on massive risk, and one bad night could decimate your bankroll. Instead, bettors should stay disciplined and limit their plays to their most confident games of the day, right? Now, absolutely, you can never lose a bet you don't make. And in general, yes, if you're wagering your entire bankroll per day, it can be dangerous. Bankroll management is super important. We have tons of videos of that on this channel. However, the reason why this is terrible advice specifically for actually making money sports betting is because to make money sports betting, plus EV betting is the absolute surefire way to do so. And the best way to make money plus EV sports betting is getting as much volume down as you can. Betting 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 bets on whatever market, whatever sport, and whatever game, that's the way that you make money with plus EV sports betting. Because the more volume you get down, right? The more money you get down, the higher profits you have because you have an ROI percentage, right? So let's say you're making 7%, you have a 7% edge and you're making 7% over time. If you get more money down, you're going to make more money. And then the second part of that equation is if you are betting 40 different bets in a day, that's actually great to remove your variance, right? If you're just betting 1 or 2 plus EV bets per day, well, you could very easily go 3 or 4 days and win like one bet, right? And end up actually losing money in the short term. But that's because there's variance. If you flip a 50-50 coin, right? Heads or tails, and it lands on heads 5 times in a row, well, that doesn't mean that anything's wrong. That's just how it works. There's variance to this. So at the end of the day, to remove variance, you need to increase the number of bets and the volume that you're putting out there, because when you have 40 bets and you have an edge on every single one of them, odds are over time you're going to see significant profits because you're removing that day-to-day swing, right? Because you've got so many bets going. So that's the second piece of advice I am happy I didn't follow, is that too many bets is dangerous. It's just not true. Okay, so the third piece of advice that in general is, it's accurate for regular sports bettors, just like number one, but for plus EV sports betting and for using market data and math, which is the way that you make money sports betting, betting parlays is actually okay. And I'll tell you why, but here's the advice, right? You don't want to be getting carried away seeking higher payouts for parlays, right? Parlays are dangerous. That's what it's basically saying, and to stay away from parlays. So for me, I totally agree with this, because in general, if you're just betting with your heart or your head and you're using, just emotions to place your bets, betting a parlay is usually a terrible idea, because when, parlays are a sportsbook's best friend, because they bring in the most profit, because that allows them to compound the juice or the vig or the tax that the sportsbooks put on their odds, right? So it's actually terrible if you're just betting based off of, your heart or your head. However, there are ways to beat this. There are ways to beat parlays, and I'll show you exactly how. So here's a parlay I have placed for the weekend, and we're going to dive into exactly why this is a plus EV and this is a profitable parlay that you should absolutely be betting, right? Parlays are not bad in this case, especially when they are plus EV. So here's the parlay, and I have it on Underdog Fantasy. This is a DFS platform where they have fixed payouts, okay? So I have a 5-man parlay here. We've got overs and unders. And basically, I put $50 on this, and I'm going to get paid out $1,000. So it's a 20x or a plus 1,900 payout for this. Now, if we were to take this on DraftKings or FanDuel or a sports book that isn't a fixed payout platform, they adjust their odds based on positive correlation between the players in that parlay, we would see that, we would actually only get paid out plus 1,200 for the same parlay on DraftKings. And it's the same thing on FanDuel as well, because these are positively correlated. Let's jump back over to Underdog. So in general, we're getting paid out plus 1,200 on DraftKings. On Underdog, we're getting paid out plus 1,900. So much, much more. This is a plus EV, a great play. Dropped this to our members a couple days ago, and really looking forward to the game. However, what I'm talking about here is that these players are positively correlated together, and DFS platforms like Prize Picks, Underdog, Parlay Play Better, they don't necessarily take into account the positive correlation all the time. Sometimes they do, because they've nerfed it. They've seen that people are taking advantage of this, like me, and they will change the payouts. But in general, it's a fixed payout, right? They're paying you 20x on a 5-man parlay, regardless of who you have in there. So what we do is, as plus EV sports bettors, is we recognize players who are positively correlated, right? So here's how this is positively correlated. the Ravens are get off to an early lead and they're winning and they're dominating the game. Okay, let's assume that. I mean, they're favored by like 9 points. I don't know exactly what the spread is, but they're favored significantly. So let's assume that that is going to happen. Well, that probably means that Lamar won't be throwing as much because they're up in the game, and Gus Edwards will be running the ball more. So lower on passing attempts for Lamar, higher on Gus Edwards. Now, on the flip side, the Houston Texans are down in the game. That means CJ Stroud has to throw more to get back into the game, and his running back, Devin Singletary, will rush less, right? So higher on Stroud, under on Singletary. And then the kicker here, the reason we go under on extra points for the kicker is because, number one, Houston's down in the game, so they probably haven't scored as many points. And we're assuming that they're down, right? This is all correlated together. We need all these to hit to win our bet. So they're down in the game. They haven't scored as many touchdowns. That means they probably haven't kicked very many extra points. And if they need to come back in the game, there's a chance that they have to go for two, right? So that's why we take under the extra points on the Houston side. So as you can see, these are all very positively correlated together for this parlay, and that's why DraftKings and all these other sports books will adjust the payout. They'll shift it down to plus 1,200, right? If I were to shift this extra point made from under to over, well, now it changes to plus 2,900, right? DraftKings sees that the under is positively correlated, the over is negatively correlated, and they shift the payout based on that. So this is how you can win with parlays, and the advice to stay away from parlays is just plain wrong. All right, that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you can think of any other, pieces of advice that you've received that you think is absolutely whack. Drop it down in the comments. We can discuss it down there. And if you are interested in getting all of my plays and learning more about Plus EV sports betting, if you don't know about it already, feel free to check out more videos on this channel, tons of educational content. And also, like I said, if you want all of my plays, they are posted in the VIP Discord. It's linked down below. You can get it for free for 3 days to try it out. It's a trial. After that, it is $50 per month. It's definitely worth it. I mean, that's at least what our members say. But the cool thing, though, is that if you need to sign up for a bunch of sports books, if you use our code JUICED, you can actually get an extra free week or two in the server per code that you use. So we get a little bit of a kickback if you use our code, and we'll give you a kickback of free access in the server. You can cash all these bets with us as well. So that's how it works. Let me know if you're going to join the server. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and we'll see you guys soon.